This is Sky Blues Extra.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sky Blues Extra Live. Tom, finally, we get to do one of these with a win under our belts, other than being depressed for the next hour or so. Well, it was a battle of the CCFCs this evening, and the Sky Blues have come out on top 1-0. Just sort your emotions for us, Tom.
Oh, mate, it feels good, doesn't it? It's just a good performance, really. Like, really proud of the lads. Thought we dug in really, really well. Some brilliant performances out on the pitch. You know, they weren't great, were they, Cardiff? But
no.
But it's just, you know, it's what we've wanted for a couple of weeks now. It's in a game where we've deserved to get something. We finally have actually got something from it. Yeah. You know, that was just quite a lot like the Forest game, where some of those balls in the box at the end, we could have thrown it away with an individual error, but we didn't. We stuck at it and we saw it out. Even Wilson coming on, you know, at the end and you know, doing his bit. It was just an all-round one of those games, wasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely needed it, didn't it? It was getting to that point now, I think, in the season where, you know, heads were down, especially the fans, weren't they? If you look at Twitter after the last couple of games, you know, everyone was in a bit of a depressive state. Yeah. But what this does now, not only will it lift the team, it will lift all the fans to get everybody back behind the club. We've got a real important stretch of games now, which potentially will define our season now, coming up over. Well, Norwich is a bit of a throwaway game, isn't it? You know, runaway league leaders. We can go there now with confidence, can't we?
That's the thing. I mean, we said on the podcast, you know, if we can win tonight, you know, like Robbins is saying, we're looking at these games in blocks, aren't we? And they come thick and fast. So if you look at this 3-game block, you know, we just said 4 points would be a good return, right? We've got our 4 points now. So we go on Saturday, and, you know, I don't care if we lose 3-0 on Saturday.
It changes the complexion, doesn't it? Because if we go there and get a result, happy days. If we don't, it
doesn't matter.
It's not too shabby, because we'll look ahead to December, and that's going to be the key games, aren't they?
Exactly. No, tonight was massive in that respect. It really was a big game, and we've got the points. So now we can go into Saturday and, you know, just have a bit of a go. Why not?
Obviously, a lot of talking points this evening to go through, Tom. I'm sure we'll go through them in a bit more detail. But to you, the fans, obviously, this is your show as well. Get your comments coming in. You can come and join us live in the studio. Just head to Sky Blues Extra on Twitter. I think Tom's put the link out already for people to come live.
I think we can share it in the chat as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we'll do that. So, come on in. Don't be scared. We don't bite. We'll have a good chat. We'll have a chinwag about tonight's result and anything you want to talk about.
Want to whinge.
Exactly. Come on and whinge if you want. It's fine. You know, we've done it for the past 6 weeks, so, you know, it'd be no different, will it? Come on and let's have a chat. We'll go through some of the comments we've already had in. Danny, a regular viewer, absolutely buzzing. How good was that? Mark Cunningham, have some of that. Play up Sky Blues. And this is important, isn't it? Robin's proven the doubters wrong. Okay, there's question marks again before the game started about his team selection, his team lineup, but, you know, another 1-0 win, another clean sheet. That's 2 in a row, Tom.
Yeah, you can't knock him. You know, the team came out, and there were a few sort of bit of head scratching, wasn't there, amongst the fans about his selection? But, you know, he sort of knew what he was doing. I thought I was quite excited by the team he put out tonight. I quite like that sort of formation. I thought it gave us a lot more. I like Hamer being central. I thought was added a lot. Kelly was absolutely
that was key,
immense,
wasn't it? Because Hamer on the weekend just wasn't influencing the game at all, and tonight he looked like one of the star men on the pitch, didn't he?
No, I think Robin's got it absolutely spot on tonight. I thought we looked good. Walker got a lot more support up top. So no, you can't really knock Robbins. Yeah, he's definitely proven the doubters wrong. There shouldn't be any doubters anyway of Robbins, really. But you know, you get that, don't you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So the league points are looking more positive after that. That's a big point Michael's made there, because if you look at the results last night, they went our way, and yet again tonight they've gone our way as well. So you know, the stars aligned for us on Wednesday, the 25th of November. Which is good to see, because, you know, you don't want to get bogged down in other teams' results, but for once this season, it's all gone our way, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I think psychologically as well with that table, because, you know, when we were I think we were 4 points adrift at one, well, not adrift, but, you know, of that sort of pack. And you start to get a bit worried about that. And, you know, if you lose, then you get further adrift. But to be sort of level with that pack and 3 points clear of the bottom three, I think is a good place to be. And you look towards sort of mid-table teams that are on sort of 16 to 18 points. Like we're not that far away from that now.
No, not at
so,
all, no.
you know, obviously Saturday's a tough game, but in that run of sort of 5 games up till Christmas, if we can pick up, you know, 2 or 3 wins, we really will be in that sort of mid-table pack. So I think psychologically it's massive.
And I think that's where we need to aim to be, isn't it? We need to be in that sort of mid pack so we can, you know, keep the pressure off to an extent as well. But I think that's where with the squad we have, I think that's where we deserve to be, kind of in that 18th to 12th area. Maybe not as high as 12th. Maybe I'm talking shit there, but maybe like 18th to 14th, maybe. Because you look at the teams around that at the moment, the likes of Huddersfield, Birmingham, Cardiff tonight, who, for all intents and purposes, I thought looked a very, very average side, especially for the squad they've got. They didn't really cause a lot of issues, a lot of problems. I think we're deserving to be in that area. Now, you look back at games where things haven't gone our way, the likes of Barnsley, where perhaps we could have ground out a result there. Forest a couple of weeks ago. We could be looking at an extra 3 or 4 points that we should have gained at this point in the season. And we could be in a much brighter position. But, we are at where we are, and we've got to grind out the results at this point. But I think things are looking a little bit more rosy, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. Like you say, like some of those points we've thrown away. Something that Ross mentioned on the pod is it's weird with the Championship because people look at points tallies, but actually, you can scrape like the odd point here and there. If you don't lose a lot of games, but you draw a lot of games, you can actually finish in a decent position.
Absolutely.
If like we could have easily have 3 or 4 more points than we do now just by not losing games. Even the Watford games and ones like that. And then you are much more towards the mid-table. So I think something that as we go on into the season, we've already lost 7 games, and we can't afford to lose tons of games this season. We need when we can't win a game, we've got to grind out points. That's going to be really key, I think.
So just to confirm, was we playing Cardiff this evening or Wednesday?
I don't think Clive knows. Do you know what it is?
That it was on a Wednesday.
To be fair to Clive, for quite a few number of years, Sheffield Wednesday had an orange away kit, just like that.
This is true, yeah.
And he was having to bring in the Sheffield Wednesday result, and then he's watching the game, and it must be confusing, to be fair.
I've started a little tally chart of how many mistakes Clive makes during a game.
Did you run out of paper?
I've run out of paper this evening, yeah.
we should do a Clive Eakin drinking game one week.
Oh, you'd be hammered by 10 minutes, mate.
I know.
We wouldn't for every mistake.
We wouldn't be able to do the live. We'd be too pissed.
Maybe for the next game, what we'll do is we'll open a poll where people can vote how many mistakes he will make during commentary.
That's a good shout.
And maybe we give away a prize or something like that.
Over 15, under 15 and all
Absolutely.
that. Like bookings and corners and stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Build a bet.
To be honest, he'll probably bet on himself and just keep making mistakes.
We'll do a Clive Eakin build a bet special next week.
Here we go. Yeah. Perfect. Let's look at a few more comments before. Glenn's waiting in the wings. Glenn hasn't spoken to us after a win.
Glenn Goran Eriksson, here he is.
Glenn is waiting in the wings. We'll get to you in a minute, Glenn, but just got to go through some more of these comments because they're totting up quick. Here we go. Danny again. McFadzean slagged him off. I thought Colin McFadzean tonight was an absolute solid rock at the back, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was brilliant. There was that one towards the end, wasn't he, where he stuck his head in, right in the danger. Fads was absolutely class tonight. Man Mountain, as that comment said.
Along with Ricky here, he's added Kelly in there, and a great shift from Walker up top. Yeah, Walker was isolated for long periods of that game, but I thought he was outstanding sometimes.
Yeah.
He didn't have to hold the ball up, but he was knocking the ball into space, and that created more space for the midfield then to push on and press Cardiff back into their own half. That's the job of a lone striker at times. Can you make more space for the rest of the team to push on?
And that's what Walker's about, isn't it? He does a lot of great work off the ball. He's one of those strikers, like you say, he does a lot for the team in that respect.
Kelly obviously is getting a lot of comments tonight, who I thought was outstanding. I thought he was brilliant. We make the point every single time we do a live or a podcast or whatever. Liam Kelly in this side makes everything better. He's a calming influence, and all of a sudden he's become like Pirlo, playing these through balls through. What's wrong with him?
Yeah, he's looked brilliant, hasn't he?
He really has.
Absolutely superb since he's come back. I mean, it's what we said really. He's got experience at this level. He's that sort of older head in the team.
Yeah.
I think we did really miss him at the start of the season because I think he went off against Bristol, didn't he, injured. And we've really missed him since then. But no, great to have him back in.
Talking of bringing people back in, here he is,
Glenn Goran Eriksson.
Oh God, what's happened with the background? Glenn, good evening, Glenn. How's it going?
Yo, I'm all right. We've won a game. I'm amazed.
We've won a game, Glenn. How do you feel?
I just thought when Morosi got crocked, I thought this is set up for a Ben Wilson clanger and they'll nick a point, especially after Forest. But yeah, so in all seriousness, I hope Morosi's all right because that looked very, very, very nasty.
I actually thought the guy looked at Morosi before he jumped up. I actually thought it was a bit of a disgusting challenge, if I'm honest.
I thought he knew what he was doing. I thought he left one. He was. If he was gambling that he was going to get something on the ball or take. I think by the look of it, I think Morosi's either busted his nose or done something to his eye socket or something because he did not.
That was black straight away, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Hopefully he's okay.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, that's the last thing we need to new goalkeeper.
So what were the big positives you took out of the match tonight, Glenn? Because there was a few standout performances, but as a team as well, we sort of played well, didn't we, as a collective?
Giles in the more forward role looked what I thought we'd get from him, that he's an outlet, he ties the play up. Walker looks like a player who's played 2 years up front on his own for most last two clubs he's been at, and he knows his game, and the goal he scored was brilliant finish. He should have scored the second one. No, we didn't see it. But yeah, that was a brilliant finish. I mean, the second one he had, he's blasted it when he probably should have just placed it. But he's had hardly any chances in the last two games, and he could have easily had 2 or 3 goals on next to no decent service in terms of general passing play. And he looks like he knows what he's doing. There was late on, he got the ball wide and he just played it and got the corner. And there'd have been other players, maybe the less experienced ones, would have just wasted it or not been that streetwise on it. Shipley, I thought was really good. I was worried about playing him, but I thought he did really good. He got himself in a lot of space and caused them a lot of problems. I still think O'Hare's probably going to be long term in that role, but Shipley did a job for the team, but Robbins left him on way too long. He should have took him off with.
He's blowing a bit, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was gone.
He's got a little bit of a rubber ring appearing as well when he took his shirt off.
I noticed that. Yeah. I mean, that's not good to isolate for. Do you have to isolate for 10 days? Was it 10 days? I think.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you ordered McDonald's and KFC every night.
That doesn't. No. Obviously, yeah, that's what I'd do in isolation. But it must be hard for a footballer because he can't even go for a run or anything, can he? So his fitness must take a bit of a knock. Unless he's doing laps of his garden or something.
I mean, you can't. You're supposed to go outside.
What at all?
I think he put an Instagram video up that he was doing football training with his daughter in the garden. I think.
Yeah, which isn't going to get his fitness up very much, is it?
For a lot of stick shit that he does. No, but I think he comes in for a lot of stick.
No, he does,
and I think he does a shift for the team. And he did get himself into some good positions, and he looks someone who looks like he could do a job at that level. I think him and Sheaf seem to be the two players that people seem to like to target.
The scapegoat sometimes, which is annoying. Yeah.
But
so who's your standout performer then, Glenn? Because obviously there's a few good performances. We've spoken the likes of Kelly and McFadz and Morosi to an extent as well. He made a few crucial grabs and punches out from his 6-yard box. But who would you say was the standout performer?
I would probably say I would give it Kelly, but I think Walker the last 2 games has shown that if we don't have Goddard, which by the sounds of it we're not going to have him probably for 2-3 weeks if we're lucky, he's somebody who can do that lone striker role. And he's somebody when Godden comes back, I think the prospect of having Godden and Walker as a pair and maybe going a bit more 4-4-2-ish would give us some definite goal threat, which we don't have at the moment, really.
Well, fingers crossed we can take this performance on into Saturday, Glenn. Thanks again for joining us on SkyBluesExtra. It's always good to have your input at the end of the game. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Cheers, Glenn.
All the best.
Take care, mate.
Cheers, Glenn. Thanks, mate. Like Glenn, everyone else, you can join in on the conversation. Just follow the links on social media. Just go to @SkyBluesExtra. The link to the studio is in there. Come and join us. Come and have a chat. say what you want to say. Talk shit if you want to. We do half the time, so it's fair enough. Let's talk about that goal then, Tom, because it was a brilliant finish, wasn't it? What we saw of it eventually.
Yeah,
we had to do with Clive's excitement to see
exactly.
we were on their lot, didn't we?
Clive described it really well.
Yeah, right.
It's just like a classic poacher's goal, really, isn't it? He's just sort of latched onto it. He spotted it, and it was still quite a hard finish from the angle, really, wasn't it? That he had to do. But like we've been saying for weeks, like Walker is a natural finisher. Like
definitely.
If anyone's watched his highlights from the last couple of years, that is just such a Walker goal, isn't it? Like he knows how to find the bottom corner.
Someone says it's like Whelan's keep over Seaman. It did feel like that, didn't it? That was an iconic goal, and this kind of felt like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that proper poacher's finish.
And he still had a lot to do, didn't he? Because
that's what I mean. Yeah,
I can't remember, was it the central defender or the right back? He made an absolute mess of it. Tried to shield the ball out of play. Tom's got a wife beater. Absolutely.
3 points and a wife beater.
Absolutely loves it. But yeah, he had to still had a load to do, didn't he, with that right back?
Yeah.
Who made an absolute mess of it, pig's ear. And there was few different things he could have done. He could have took the ball on a little bit further, could have played it round the keeper, but he went for the dink, and it just shows how much of a class act he is with his finishing technique.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we need in the club, because you think of some of the strikers we've had over the years, even I know Huula scored 14 goals in the season or whatever, but even him, it would he'd be through on goal and it would take him an age to score it. And
what was that?
That's
there
the sort
was
of one
period of time where there was 7 games in a row where he had 2 or 3 gilt edge chances and he didn't score any of them, didn't he?
He just and even when he did score it was like it took such an effort to score.
Yeah.
But Walker just is the opposite to that. He makes it look very easy and very simple. It's nice to have finishers like that, and obviously Godden's similar as well. So to have 2 players like that is great.
Absolutely. A lot of people have talked about this Cardiff side. You look at that side that Cardiff had out tonight and on the bench.
Good side.
There was experience all over the pitch.
Big team as well, weren't they?
Massive. Yeah, I mean, something like an average just short of 6 foot. Which is absolutely massive.
But they were off it, I think, to be honest with you.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I mean, players like Hoylett. When he came off as a sub, I didn't even realise he was on the pitch.
Yeah, he only touched the ball about 2 or 3 times.
Barely in the game.
And, he was one of the danger men we brought up in the podcast as well, one that we had to be wary of. But this Cardiff team is so experienced, they've got so much vast championship experience, but they didn't turn up tonight. But we also, to an extent, made them look ordinary, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in terms of how we set up at the back, we were really well organised, and Hyam was just winning everything. He was drawing the foul from Moore quite a lot. Fads was absolutely solid. We just dealt with them really well all night, really, I thought.
Guys, if there's anything you want us to chat about, keep sending your comments in. We'll do our best to talk about what you want us to chat about. Here we go. Here's from Donald O'Donoghue. Thanks, Donald, for messaging. Another clean sheet, very important, and walk on the score sheet, 2 massive positives. Style of play seems to be coming together with Kelly in the middle. Yep, I mean Kelly's been brought back into the side, and it's no coincidence that we've kept 2 clean sheets and we look so much more compact in the middle of the park, don't we? There's always seems to be a little bit more space now with Kelly there. Yeah,
exactly. And with the 4 at the back as well, I think it works quite well with Kelly just sitting in front of them. I don't know what you think about that, but I just think it just works a little bit better, because you always think with the 4 maybe we've got a little bit less sort of coverage at the back, but Kelly always gets back and he's always sitting in, isn't he? So there is that bit of
that little more room as well. I think Sheaf, he's got a lot of haters in our fan base for no real reason whatsoever, to be honest. But he's coming into his own now again tonight. Okay, he made 1 mistake that I can remember, but there was 3 or 4 passages I just thought were absolutely way beyond the championship level. He just seems to be able to pick a pass at the right time, and with those kind of players, you're going to get the odd mistake, aren't you?
Of course,
it's inevitable. It's the same with Gus Hamer.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, isn't it?
The pros outweigh the cons for me. In that.
Yeah, exactly. If you're doing that much, if you're dictating that much of the play and making that many passes in a game, then statistically you're gonna, they're not all gonna reach their man. It was like we looked when for sort of player of the month. I think it was like 80% pass completion, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, bonkers.
So it's like,
it was actually the second highest in the championship during
so it's like,
October. Yeah,
that's still obviously 2 out of 10 that aren't going to the right man, but that's just going to happen with the role he's got in the team.
Sky CCFC, really nice comment. Thanks very much. SkyBluesExtra is the best and only fan channel. Don't accept any cheap, tacky imitations.
Yeah, if you've been on Twitter today, you'll know what that's referring to.
But that's nice to hear. Yeah, I mean, SkyBluesExtra, it's for the fans, isn't it, Tom? It's your
100%.
channel, as well as us talking nonsense about the club. Hopefully some good stuff as well. But
yeah, exactly.
It's for you to get involved with as well across all social media. Come on live onto the show. Send your questions in for podcasts, etc. We'll do our best. And fingers crossed, once we can go to games, we'll get your thoughts after matches as well.
Yeah, 100%.
So fingers crossed. Looking ahead, hopefully we're not in tier 3, because we're in shit creek, aren't we? Really?
Yeah. Well, I think the problem we've got is that, but I think Coventry and Birmingham both have to be in the lower tier. So for people to travel, so we're in a unique position, obviously, compared to other clubs. I don't think the
stars will align for that, unfortunately.
No, possibly not.
Do you know Boris? Can you pull some strings with BJ?
If anyone knows Boris, please let us know. But yeah.
Well, let's look ahead to Saturday then, because Norwich, obviously one of the top sides in this division. They're expected to bounce back at the first opportunity. People are asking, would our starting 11 against Norwich be the same? Do we keep the same formation? What do you think? I mean, Norwich are riddled with injuries at the moment. That's one thing that hasn't been noticed yet.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because part of you would just say play the same team as tonight. Obviously, Morosi might be out, but in terms of the general shape of the team, you'd be tempted to just keep it the same.
Yeah.
Or would you go back to the 3 at the back? I don't know. It's a tough one, really, isn't it? It's a tough one.
We haven't got McCallum, so he can't play.
No, but exactly. But then without McCallum, we could put Giles at wing back, and then
Giles looked better tonight further up the pitch. These are questions and.
But this is what I mean. Right? What I'm saying is it's harder to. Obviously we have to change because of McCallum, so it's harder to play the 4 at the back at Norwich because we haven't got McCallum, because we don't have a left back, do we?
No.
So we might actually have to revert to the 3 and the wing backs possibly.
I suspect he will do, because Norwich tend to attack a lot in triangles and playing balls down the side of the pitch. So having the 3 there will give us the opportunity for the wing backs to control the areas of the pitch where Norwich will probably look most dangerous.
So who would come out then of the midfield then? Would possibly Shipley come out then?
It depends if he goes 2 up top, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, if he's going to play 1 up top, it gives us the option to have an extra man in the midfield. So it's difficult. I mean, let's just have a scan at tonight's lineup. I've got a graphic here. So this is what we did tonight.
Yeah.
This is what I based it on for the first part of the match, which it obviously changed during the match. But so McCallum can't play. So you'd think Ostergaard will come in at the central defence.
Yeah.
Giles revert back to left wing back, and Dabo. I thought Dabo looked off the pace again this evening. His fitness is probably showing, isn't it?
Better though than the other night. I thought bit more composed, but yeah, he's still not match fit.
I think you'll see Kelly and Sheaf in the middle with Hamer probably ahead of them, and then Walker again. So that gives an extra man somewhere, doesn't it? So it depends. It depends if he wants to play the 2 up top.
Yeah, but then if Godden's not, presumably Godden's not ready for Saturday.
I wouldn't assume so. No.
So who would you? I mean, Biamu, I suppose.
If you're playing 2 up there, Biamu comes in, doesn't he?
Yeah, Biamu comes in. Yeah. Tough.
Because I think we're gonna be up against it for large periods of this game. If we have 2 up top, it gives us an outball, right? So that's the potential Mark Robbins has got. But you look tonight, and the team seem to have got used to that 4 at the back a little bit better than Saturday for sure. Yeah,
exactly. I suppose the other thing as well is because who do we play next Tuesday? Is it Derby?
I don't know.
I'll have a quick look. But no, I'm just thinking of, with Saturday being a little bit of a free hit. I know Robbins probably wouldn't say it like that, but would he possibly think about ahead a little bit? Yeah, Derby. So, Derby on Tuesday is a massive game, isn't it? Yeah. It's a huge game. Like 3 points against Derby would be a really big result, because that puts a big gap between us and Derby, possibly 6 point gap. Whereas Norwich, it is a bit of a free hit. So possibly, possibly make some changes for Saturday. I don't know. It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to second guess because I mean after Saturday, okay, we kept the clean sheet, we didn't lose. I actually thought Robins would revert back to the three at the back tonight.
Mm.
I don't know why. Maybe because we were at home against a more of a physical Cardiff side. I thought having an extra man at the back would help. But Kiefer Moore, to be fair, McFadzean and Hyan were absolutely solid. So Kiefer Moore didn't have a sniff all night, did he? So that it did work out in that way.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought you froze there again, Tom. You'd stay
Nah,
still
sorry,
like
mate.
a statue.
I got distracted by some comments there. Sorry, mate.
Comments on the live.
Yeah, sorry. People just pinging through stuff on WhatsApp, so I was just trying to look at them.
Okay, right, yeah. I hope they weren't taking the piss out of us.
This is what happens when we win. Everyone's really excited. You see, get distracted.
It is, yeah. It's actually. I mean, you look. I mean, I've just had a quick scan on Twitter. It's just such a nicer place to look, isn't it? Looking at the hashtag PUSB. After a loss or after a bad performance, it's absolutely viral
even
at times,
even Friday, like after the Birmingham game, like we got a point, and some of the stuff I was seeing, and the next day and stuff. I mean, it was like we'd been battered 4-0 or something. It was like, we've just got a point against Birmingham playing at their own ground. Like, it's really not a bad result.
No.
And like we were saying, I think in this championship season, we've got to think about these games in like little blocks. So if you get a 0-0 draw on the Friday night, then it's all about your midweek game to follow up.
Someone said you got Tinder on the go. I think, Tinder or Bumble, aren't you, Tom? More of a Bumble.
Yeah, one of those, mate. One of those.
Ian saying, would we change a winning team? That's
the thing, isn't it?
That's the headache, isn't it? Because you kind of feel like it's a completely different game against Norwich. They're going to play so different to how Cardiff set up. Cardiff are a very aggressive team, although they didn't really show it this evening. You go up against a more technical side.
Yeah.
You want to have an extra man at the back. I personally would. That's how I would play, but
it's hard with Robins to tell with Robins, isn't it? Because like
it is,
last season, and even the season before to an extent, he used to just stick by his guns week in, week out. Like, he just wouldn't change the team at all, even when we were needed to sometimes. Even going to like FA Cup replays where you were like just rest some players and he was playing the same team. But this year it's been the opposite, hasn't it? Really. I mean, you just don't know what team's going to be put out. So
you question his subs as well at times. Perhaps he wouldn't even brought Ben Wilson on tonight. You might have thrown a curveball and took an outfield player out in the back. But it's just question marks with Robins with this team selection at times. But you can't fault the man. He's got it right the last two games. We've conceded 23 goals previously.
Two clean sheets in a row.
We've had 2 clean sheets in a row. They're at this point of the season, for a team that's just been promoted, they're like an extra point really.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, just mindset wise,
psychologically, these two results, these last two results are massive. Like, they really are, because like we said, going into we've been saying for a few weeks now that run of games in December will define our season to an extent, because everyone knows where you are at Christmas is roughly where you're going to finish, or it gives you a good indicator of what you're going to need to do in the second half of the season. And if we can go into that period with a lot of confidence, even if we lost on Saturday at Norwich, but we play really well, I think it will carry through into those games. Mm-hmm. And then it's just about putting some wins together, and we know we can win. We know we can get results.
Sure, yeah. One thing I did want to bring up, we've talked about disciplinary record over the last few games, and this is a big stat tonight. No yellow cards, which is good to see, because they're totting up. I think we're one of the highest in the division for disciplinary. So good to see 0 yellow cards as well, and more attempts than the opposition. I think that's probably the first time that's happened this year. We've had more attempts than the opposition, especially on target. So it does show we have created a few chances tonight. Yeah,
exactly. No, it's good number of good chances created, and like we said, credit to sort of Walker's hard work and the extra support he was getting up there tonight.
Absolutely. A couple of other talking points. I think we've mentioned Dabo a little bit. I personally don't feel like he's the same Dabo at that one player of the season last year. Maybe that's down to his fitness levels. I kind of feel like he's a little bit sloppy at the moment. Both offensively and defensively, I'm finding him a little bit sloppy, and he's been bailed out quite a bit. What are your thoughts on Dabo?
Yeah, I just think it's down to that match fitness, isn't it? There's absolutely no doubting Dabo's ability. Like, he's for me, he's one of the best players at the club. Like, I mean, once he got going last season, and again, like, it's interesting because last season it took him a little while to get going. Like, obviously, Oxford, when he had those 2 horrendous own goals and whatever, I think Portsmouth, he got sent off. So he didn't have a great start to last season either. You know, It took him 4 or 5 games to get going. But after that, I genuinely don't think he set a foot wrong the whole season. Like, he was so consistent. Like, you'd bet your life on him trapping the ball from one of those long passes across field. So I just think with Dabo, he just has to get going. He has to get his match fitness up, get his momentum going. And once he's into his rhythm, there's no stopping him. So, no doubt that in, 1 or 2 games time, he'll be back to his, normal self, I would have thought.
Fingers crossed.
And obviously he's playing, like, obviously tonight he's playing in a slightly different position, playing it right back as well. Like, I was noticing him sort of almost wanting to get a bit further forward, but he's having to sort of hold back a little bit. Mm-hmm. So there's that as well. But no, like, there's no doubt Dabo's an absolutely, like, really really talented player, and he'll be key for us this season.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll come into his own at some point. Hearing news, Morosian's going to be out at least for Saturday, so it means Mr. SkyBluesExtra sponsored player himself, Ben Wilson, is going to get thrown into the mix.
We're going to get our money's worth now.
Absolutely.
From Wilson actually making an appearance.
Will he have the SkyBluesExtra logo anywhere?
Hopefully.
Has he got it tattooed?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's in
he should get it on his left arse cheek, and if we win 1-0, it just gives it a little show to the camera.
From what we've heard about the sort of character he is the sort of thing he'd probably do, to be honest.
He probably would do, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that's a big opportunity for Ben, though, isn't it? Because, he's only been thrown in cup games in the past.
Yeah.
And he's going to get an opportunity now in the league, especially in the Championship as well. It's a different
it's massive
fish for someone like him who hasn't played at this level. So best of luck to him, and it'll be interesting to see how he shows.
Yeah, massive for him, and he's actually. I mean, obviously we've interviewed a lot of the players on the pod, and he's probably one of those players who does a lot behind the scenes that people don't realise.
Yeah,
like. We've even players that we spoke to who've left the club have said they still stay in touch with him. He's brilliant in the dressing room. He keeps the morale up. So, sub goalie's a weird position at the club to be in, isn't it? You spend a lot of your time not actually playing football, but
waiting there on the side, tentacles ready to get thrown into the mix.
So if you can add something in terms of being a good character, a good bloke in the dressing room, and you can help some of the younger players out, whatever it is, then that's obviously very valuable, and from what we've heard, that's what he does. So, no, I think he deserves his chance. He's been very, very patient. Even last season, he didn't even play in the cup. I don't think, did he?
No.
So, he deserves a chance. And what a great Carrow Road away at Norwich. What a great time to sort of make your full debut.
Other people have brought up that Tom Bilson is also sitting there on the sidelines. A lot's expected of Tom Bilson. Reports from the sort of the setup is that Tom Bilson is a future number 1. He's a young guy. He's got something to prove. A lot of people are asking for him to come into the mix. So, that's another potential opportunity for Bilson to get himself into the first team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I presume he'll be on the bench on Saturday. He's not out on loan anywhere, is he?
No.
So you think? I mean, there was obviously the League camp rumours going around. I don't know whether that was a load of nonsense or whatever, but it was a bit of a weird one, that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think Bilson it's hard, isn't it, for the academy players, because, and this is similar with Papaga, when we were in League 2 or League 1, they would get that chance like Shipley did.
Sure, yeah.
But when you're in the Championship, it's hard to get in. Our academy is brilliant, but to make that sort of step up and play in the first team is a lot harder in the Championship. So players like Bilson, it's going to be hard to get into the setup, I think.
Yeah, people like Danny says here about the emergency keeper. I mean, Bilson's been on the bench a couple of times this season, so Robbins and Vivash have obviously got some trust in him to step up if needed. What happens if Morosi had got injured in the games he was substitute keeper for? He would have had to play.
Yeah, so, I mean, I know we had Stockdale, didn't we? Was that the year before last, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think
it was last season, wasn't it?
Was it? No, I don't know. I think it was the year before, possibly. Anyway, but because I think he played against Warsaw, then anyway, I've never been a massive fan of the sort of emergency loan for keepers. I just think
come in and keep a couple of clean sheets.
I mean, Stockdale was brilliant.
Yeah.
For the games he played, but I just think just for the sort of morale and like the togetherness of the team, and like we said with players like Bilson, it's like, if you're there trying to make your break and get your sort of game on the bench, and then Lee Camp just comes storming in and plays in the first team, I don't know. I've never been a massive fan of the emergency loans. I just think it kind of disrupts the team a little bit, possibly, but who knows?
Yeah, it's a fair enough comment. It will disrupt team ethos and
if you're Ben Wilson and then Lee Camp comes in and plays on Saturday, you're like, well,
dagger, right?
You're a bit fed up, aren't you? Really? But what do I know?
Cool. Got a question here from Kyle. Will you be going to games when fans are allowed back into stadiums? Have you bought season tickets? Do you want to go first, Tom?
I've got my membership, so fingers crossed. Yeah, hopefully we'll be back in the ground.
I don't have a membership because I'm a cheapskate now. I just didn't buy. Unfortunately, I travel a lot with work, so unfortunately I don't get to go to as many games. And for me, I'm a little bit apprehensive with the whole COVID situation anyway. But I will try and go to as many games as I can.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
I do miss the buzz, don't you, Tom? That's the thing.
That's the thing, mate. Yeah,
it's the whole day out experience.
That's it for me, mate.
Doesn't matter if you lose, doesn't matter if you win, whatever. It's just that experience, and the mental side of things now is what's showing up, isn't it?
That's the thing for me. I think don't get me wrong. Like live football is great, but I think it's everything that surrounds football that I love. It's like now on Saturdays, it's like you've got that whole day of nothing happening, and then you watch the game for 90 minutes, and then you can just go and do whatever you want straight after, and it kind of makes you realise how much time is taken up, normally by football. And it's that, getting on the train with your mates, having a beer, putting a bet on, talking about what the formation is going to be, like all that stuff that's what you live and breathe every Saturday.
Absolutely.
Which we're all missing, but hopefully
you're going to go to,
it's all that. It's, right? It's just that like anticipation for the day. You get on the train, you don't know what mood you're going to be in at 5 o'clock, sort of thing. So that's what I miss about it, really. But yeah, hopefully we're back. Obviously, I think everyone's in a different situation. Some people it's going to be difficult to go. People have got to travel, etc. But I think even if we can get a couple of thousand back at St Andrews, I think it'll make a massive difference.
Not just for the club as well, but for all our fans.
It won't make a difference to the club. The club realistically won't. A few chairmans have come out and said I listened to the Price of Football podcast, and they've been saying they're not going to make any money because the tickets have already been bought. If anything, it will probably cost them to put staff in place and hand sanitizer and all these things they've got to do. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we're probably fortunate we can split all of those costs with Birmingham. But it's probably going to cost the club initially if it's 2,000 people. But obviously, they're going to sort of do it, and it's great it's just that sort of that foot in the door of getting things moving, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I think for them, it's really important now for the mental side of people's health, isn't it? It's an escape for a lot of people, football matches, and hopefully, fingers crossed, with talk of the vaccines, etc., we can start to be in a position maybe early next year. I can't see us getting to a match before Christmas. I just can't see that happening with the tier situation. I can't see many places being in tier 2 or tier 3 to be honest, tier 1. That everywhere's.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it?
Free.
I mean, not to get into too much about it, but they're obviously putting tiers in place, and then they can then put you in whatever tier they want. So they can come out and say, "Oh, it's fine, football can come back." But then if they put everywhere in tier 2 and 3, it's not really back properly. So that's the thing, isn't it?
So I brought up an interesting point with my dad earlier on, and I said, for us, if we're in tier 3, we can't have anybody in the ground. But say we go to an away match who's in tier 1,
this is the thing,
they're going to have 4,000 fans in there. I know they say there's no chanting, no singing, no screaming, whatever. That's bollocks. That's not going to not happen. Of course it's going to happen.
Of course not.
So that becomes a massive advantage.
This is the thing, mate.
We've already seen how many away teams have won in different stadiums over the past year since the sort of the lockdown in the summer.
Yeah.
It's the biggest amount of away wins across every division.
There's no doubt it makes an impact. Like
so
statistically, it has. Yeah. And there's that, and there's the financial bit as well. I mean, again,
is it fair though?
This is the thing. I mean, case in point, right? So we travel to Wickham on the 12th of December, right? Wickham very highly likely will be tier 1 because it's in the middle of nowhere, like literally in the middle of nowhere.
I live down the road. Perfect for me.
Yeah.
I
So
could be a secret Wickham fan for a day.
You mate, you could literally go and watch it from the woods next door because you can literally see it from there. I might come join you. But yeah, they'll be in a tier 1, so they might have 4,000 fans in the ground, which is going to help to an extent.
Yeah.
They're also going to be making, they've probably sold 2,000 season tickets, maybe less, whatever. They might be making, 2,000 people in their ground making money as well. So Wickham could possibly have a massive income stream through December, which we won't have. And that's just a postcode lottery at the end of the day, isn't it? So yeah, it seems like it could be a bit of an imbalance, but for the good of football and mental health and all that sort of stuff, and just getting things moving, we might just have to suck it up.
Hopefully the Sky Blues Extra podcast, the Sky Blues Extra Live, are a little shining light on people's lives to make you feel like you're with your mates who, we're all football fans in the day, aren't we? That's what we do this for, to keep everybody entertained during these periods and get some interesting stories and get some interesting comments out there. It's your channel as well as ours. So
100%.
Keep your comments coming in. Danny's saying about potential to be at back of the Rico. I can't personally see this happening. The whole returning to the Rico, regardless of if we're tier 2, 3, etc. I just can't see us being back of the Rico in at least the short term. Yeah,
to be honest with you, no one really knows what's happening. I think there's possibly some talks happening at the moment. We don't really know what those talks are. We're not sure. It's just one of those, isn't it? It's really hard to know what's going on behind the scenes. To me, it's what we all want to be back in Coventry, obviously, but to go back right now and how long term would that be? I don't know. I just think I wouldn't want to go back for half a season, or it's just sort of prolonging the pain almost.
You get
in a way.
elation, don't you? And then all of a sudden, you can drop straight back down to to earth again with going back to St Andrews.
If we're stating, which we the club are, that we're going to build a new stadium, then we're not clearly going for a long-term deal at the Rico, and it's just that sort of prolonging of it. But don't get me wrong, we need to be back in Coventry, but I don't know how much it could disrupt things. That's all I worry about,
Listen, let's get back to a positive note on tonight's result. Who would you say was the man of the match tonight for yourself?
It's got to be Kelly for me. Yeah. I thought he was superb. Fads is probably a close second, but I thought Kelly was absolutely superb. The way he sort of got back and helped out the defence, he's just first to every ball. Yeah, superb, Liam Kelly.
Captain, fantastic. Captain Marvel.
It's what we've needed. It's what we've needed all season.
Absolutely. Right.
What about you, Dean?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, Kelly, outstanding. Just always in the right place at the right time. His footballing brain is absolutely outstanding. A lot of people got question marks over whether Liam Kelly could do it at this level. I think over the last 2 games, he just proved that he knows what he's doing. He can play this level quite easily.
Because where he plays, really, I mean, obviously there might be questions about his pace and he's getting on a bit. I mean, he's not that old, but he's not that young either. But where he plays, he doesn't need to be that quick, or doesn't need to. He just needs to get stuck in and
he needs to have some kind of control, right?
Yeah, it's just like those little touches that he makes, those little flicks, and he loops the ball over players. And like you said, it's that football brain. That's what you need in that position. And then Sheaf and Hamer, and they can do everything else. That's fine. So I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah, look, Ken said you can't be experienced. 2 clean sheets since he's been back. It's no coincidence that when he was brought back into the side that we've kept those clean sheets. But like I said, a few minutes ago, he's just such a calming influence in the middle of the park. And what that does is it's now going to allow Sheaf to come into his own a little bit more, and more importantly, Gus Hamer to move forward now into those attacking positions, which he's got into some brilliant positions over the last 2 games. Yeah,
exactly. Well, when you showed the formation that we set up earlier, I mean, just him being able to play that bit further forward, and we know that he can chip in with the goal as well. That header he had tonight, if he glanced that just slightly to the left or the right, that was a goal, wasn't it?
You sure that weren't Walker?
Was it Walker?
No. Clive said it out for about 14 times. I also noticed Oggy. He said, what did Oggy say? He goes, we should be 2-0 up, and if we were 2-0 up, we'd be 3-0 up. I was like, what?
Oh, mate.
Sure,
they're it's like all those Michael Owen quotes, isn't it?
Yeah. All the Muppets.
We could start maybe we should start. There's already a Clive Egan Twitter page, to be fair, but
there is. Yeah, he hasn't posted for a while though. The parody.
No, we need to rejuvenate that.
Fingers crossed. There's a few parody accounts on Twitter at the moment. If you've seen what was happening today, that's for sure. Right.
Yeah.
Looking ahead to Saturday, Tom. Big game, obviously, against Norwich. How do you see that panning out?
Hard to predict, isn't it? Like you said, they've got a few injuries. I think they haven't been really battering teams. They've been sort of just about doing enough. I think it'll be tight, to be honest with you. I think if we can keep our shape and sort of if we defend resolutely like we did tonight, we should be able to keep them out. I don't like predicting a loss, but they might narrowly beat us. But I think whatever happens on Saturday, we'll just go out and play our stuff, and it's a free hit. Like I'm not too bothered about what happens on Saturday. Like next Tuesday is an enormous game, and then what's the one after that? Next Saturday, Rotherham at home.
Rotherham, yeah.
They're the two that I'm thinking about, but. I mean, if we can nick a point on Saturday, it's an absolutely fantastic result. But I think it'll be a tight game. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it'll be tight because I think the game will be finely balanced because I don't think Norwich really haven't come up a team. If we play with three at the back with the two wing backs, they haven't really come up against a side who's very compact in that manner. So it'd be interesting to see how they cope with how the Sky Blues play. And for us, I think. It's such a Coventry result, isn't it, to go and nick a win there and then lose the next 3 games against the teams we should be beating. That's how I feel. But I think we can go in now with a load of confidence. It's a free hit. That game will not define our season on Tuesday.
100%.
What will define our season is what comes after.
Yeah,
so let's just go there with confidence.
Yeah. You look at, after Saturday, it's Derby. It's away actually, Derby. Derby away, Rotherham at home, Luton at home, Wickham away, Huddersfield at home, Sheffield Wednesday away.
There's a few grounds there that if fans were in, they're tough places to go. The likes of Derby and especially Hillsborough as well.
Tough places to go, but there's no doubt there'd be. Well, at Hillsborough, you expect 3,000 or 4,000 City fans there, wouldn't you, behind the goal? So that 12th man away from home definitely helped us last season, didn't it?
Absolutely. Well, let's wrap it up there, Tom, for this evening. A fantastic win for the Sky Blues. Finally, me and Tom have done a Sky Blues Extra Live in which we've won. So the doom and gloom can go down the toilet for the time being. We can look with happy faces.
They'll be back on Saturday.
And smiles. Yeah, exactly. We can go ahead to Saturday with smiles on our faces. I was going to say we can go into work with smiles on our faces, but most workplaces are closed at the moment.
We'll work from home with smiles on our faces
Absolutely.
tomorrow.
Absolutely. Tom, thanks for joining me once again.
Cheers, mate.
That's it. Join us Saturday for the next instalment of Sky Blues Extra Live. I don't think it'll be us two, but
someone will be on.
You can enjoy the company of Dave. And until next time, play up Sky Blues.